Title IX Risk Advisory, Structural Sexual Violence Exposure at Dongguk University, Seoul. Today we're exposing a critical risk advisory concerning Dongguk University's graduate film program in Seoul, South Korea, a program currently listed as a partner institution by several U.S. universities. There is substantial reason to believe that this program exposes female graduate students to persistent, structurally embedded risks of sexual violence, operating within a male-dominated institutional culture that lacks independent reporting systems, protective oversight, or gender balance in faculty representation. These environments don't just enable sexual violence, they compound the psychological harm by systematically denying women safe pathways for disclosure or protection. The absence of transparent support structures magnifies the trauma experienced by victims, creating what experts in trauma psychology identify as institutional betrayal trauma, where the organization's failure to protect becomes a second layer of profound harm. Institutional risk factors at Dongguk University include no visible independent reporting system for sexual violence and sexual assault, 0 full-time female faculty in the graduate film program, abolition of the Women's Student Council during the height of Korea's MeToo movement in 2018, shared campus space with commercial film entities such as Sidus FNH, blurring lines between academic authority and industry power dynamics, creating additional sexual violence risks, and systematic use of personal email addresses by faculty that circumvents institutional oversight and creates communication channels outside university monitoring systems. A particularly concerning pattern emerges in Dongguk's faculty communication practices. Professors deliberately present different contact information to different audiences. English language websites display official institutional emails that frequently don't function, while Korean language websites list personal Gmail and Naver accounts. This dual-channel system creates a professional facade for international partners while establishing off-the-record communication networks that exist outside institutional oversight. When faculty use personal email addresses for student communications, it enables circumvention of university monitoring, creates plausible deniability around communications, avoids records that could be subject to administrative review during investigations, and maintains separate back channels that eliminate evidence trails. This practice becomes particularly dangerous in contexts where sexual violence concerns exist, as it creates private communication channels with students that cannot be monitored or archived by the institution. Corporate intimidation and systematic silencing of victims. Recent escalation demonstrates how the institutional culture extends beyond passive negligence to active intimidation of those who report sexual violence. Following international exposure of these structural risks, Sidus Corporation, the commercial film entity sharing campus facilities with Dongguk, retained law firm Shinwon to send official legal threats demanding immediate retraction of accountability, advocacy, and cessation of victim support under threat of legal action. This corporate legal intimidation occurred within 24 hours of viral social media exposure that created safe spaces for victims to share experiences, revealing a systematic infrastructure designed to silence sexual violence reports. The legal intimidation campaign demonstrates several critical patterns. Professional law firms are weaponized to silence victims and advocates through official letterhead threats. Corporate entities connected to the university actively participate in victim silencing. Legal threats target vulnerable foreign women who face additional barriers to legal protection. And intimidation escalates precisely when victims begin speaking out, revealing the predatory system's desperation to maintain secrecy. This retaliation culture creates additional trauma for victims while deterring future reports, effectively functioning as an institutional defense mechanism that protects perpetrators rather than students. The corporate university partnership arrangement amplifies risks by creating unmonitored access to vulnerable students seeking industry connections, exploiting foreign women's visa vulnerabilities and language barriers, establishing accountability gaps through shared facility arrangements, and enabling systematic targeting of international students who face additional barriers to reporting and legal protection. When combined with the absence of independent reporting systems and female faculty representation, this intimidation infrastructure creates a perfect environment for sexual violence to flourish while ensuring victims remain silenced. There is also a documented pattern of institutional negligence in responding to sexual assault cases. The university took no action for 6 months after being notified in February 2016 about a professor's sexual assault of a student. They only implemented a token professor replacement policy in August 2016, 9 months after the assault occurred in November 2015. They failed to take disciplinary action against the professor until formal prosecution occurred in September 2016. The university has a history of prioritizing institutional reputation over student safety through delayed responses and minimal interventions. Their reporting mechanisms are fundamentally flawed. In the 2015 sexual assault case, the victim reported to police rather than university channels, revealing a profound lack of trust in institutional protections. The 3-month gap between the November 2015 assault and February 2016 university notification demonstrates how institutional barriers prevent timely reporting and intervention. Korea's strict hierarchical academic culture creates overwhelming pressure for students to remain silent about faculty misconduct. These structural barriers to reporting mirror findings from the Korean Women's Development Institute's research, which identifies how Korea's Confucian academic tradition creates multiple layers of silencing. First, power asymmetry between professors and students is extreme, with professors controlling not only academic outcomes but future career prospects. Second, cultural emphasis on saving face prioritizes institutional reputation over victim protection. Third, victims face severe social stigmatization and potential academic retaliation if they report through internal channels. Fourth, the absence of female faculty or student advocacy groups removes crucial support systems that might otherwise facilitate safe reporting. These factors combine to create a statistically high-risk environment for sexual violence, particularly in a country where, according to a 2021 study by the Korean Women's Development Institute, arts graduate programs are among the highest risk environments for sexual violence and sexual abuse by faculty. Confirmed cases of institutional misrepresentation. Despite these red flags, Dongguk continues to publicly list a wide range of U.S., Canadian, and European universities as partners on its official website. We have contacted several of these institutions directly. 2 examples are especially troubling. From Canada, we received this response. We do not have a student exchange agreement with Dongguk University. As a result, please do not include our institution in the article and when you communicate with any journalists or media. From the United States, we received this response. Greetings. Thank you for making us aware of this situation. We are undergoing a review of all of our exchange partners and will take this into consideration and will reach out to our partners at Dongguk accordingly. Please do not quote me in any articles or further emails. Thank you. Best. These responses confirm that some schools currently listed by Dongguk have no active relationship with the university. This suggests possible false advertising of partnerships, which may distort public rankings and mislead international applicants, potentially exposing them to sexual violence risks without adequate institutional protections. We also received a response from a global university rankings organization. Hello, thank you for bringing this to our attention. We forwarded this to our management for their attention. Kind regards. This shows that international institutions are taking the matter seriously and are reviewing Dongguk's credibility and safety record regarding sexual violence prevention. Recommendation: we respectfully recommend that Title IX offices review Dongguk University's standing as a current or prospective exchange partner. Contact their Global Programs Office to formally request documentation of sexual violence prevention protocols and response mechanisms for sexual assault cases, and suspend exchange programs until a full Title IX compliance assessment is completed, and independent protections for students against sexual violence and sexual abuse can be verified. Additional supporting documents such as faculty page archives, Korean Women's Development Institute reports on sexual violence, and full Title IX memos are available on our websites. Please feel free to check out the links in the comments. This is Gender Watchdog, and will continue exposing these critical student safety issues.